Welcome back to 52 Weeks of Gaming. As always, I'm going to go and introduce it. Nick's going to go and say what the game is. I'm going to go and give a little bit of backstory. He'll give a review, and I'll ask him some questions, and we'll go from there. So let's just jump right into it. So this is Bomber Crew. I know nothing about the game. It's on Game Pass, and I just know that it's advertised as a strategic survival game involving planes and things. So I'm gonna go into it, and as always, know nothing about it. So let's find out, and I'll get back to you on how well I survive. So Bomber Crew came out in 2017, developed by Runner Duck and published by Curve Digital. Came out to a number of different platforms: PS4, Xbox, Switch, PC, pretty much everything that's really relevant. And the overall idea of the game is that you play as the crew of a bomber plane, which would be a Lancaster for the Royal Air Force in World War II, so that would make it the UK, England, that you were helping out, and so you control this crew, and it was kind of a fantastic game when it came out. Got tons of good reviews, great art style, great stuff to it, but I don't want to go and talk too much about it without letting Nick kind of give his information about it first, so let's send it over to him now. So Bomber Crew is a strategic survival game that you are in charge of a plane, and basically it's in World War II, and you're doing all these different missions, and the missions vary based on overall, I guess, tasks. So some you have to take down submarines, some you have to destroy army depots. It's based in World War II, so you're doing things that a bomber would do in World War II. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, you get to choose recruits who are going to go and be in your plane. You get to upgrade the plane to different engines and how it looks and how the guns are and the electrical system and what sort of things like fire extinguisher or first aid are going to go and be inside. And you could go and train your people so they can have different skills. So like, for example, you could make it so your pilot learns how to go and do a corkscrew so you can dodge enemies. That way you could make custom navigation points so you can kind of avoid hazards. Your gunners can learn focus so they can be a bit more accurate. There's lots of little bits to it, and that's why it's a strategic survival game, because it's about doing the missions and then getting the rewards, like the money and the points from it, and then choosing how you go and upgrade it. Do you upgrade the armor on your plane to be able to stop more bullets so your team doesn't get knocked down, or do you go and put it in towards training and gear so you can go and improve your team so their survivability is going to be a bit more? And I like that. I think it's a really cool, unique game that's not really done. I mean, like strategic survival games aren't too uncommon, but I think it's a fun game. I enjoy it. I like the art style for it. It is a lot more difficult than it first appears, because something could go wrong with the plane, and then you are having to go and navigate and quickly like make your engineer go and change something while your gunners are firing, and then they run out of bullets, so you have to choose someone to go and reload. But it could be the person in charge of the radar, and so the person in charge of the radar has to go and do it, but then you lose your radar because they're not there. And so it's a lot to it, and it's fun. There's a bunch of different missions you can go and do for the main story, and you can keep it going, and there's different paths you can kind of go with it overall. But yeah, I absolutely love the game. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's really nice. So as always, who would you say should go and play this game? I think anyone who likes like real-time strategy games would like it, just because it has that aspect to it where you're having to think on the fly of making sure you're getting the enemy pilots, their planes marked, or you're making sure you're dropping the bombs properly in the spots. And so it is a bit of an RTS in that sense. I think people who like World War II are going to like it, because it takes place in World War II, and people who like planes and the customization and survival games. So I really think there's a large pool of people who would go and like this game, and it's not that gory for being a strategic survival game. It's very laid back in that sort of sense with the animation, so it's not even something like kids can't go and play, because it's something that's really nice. So yeah, I think there's a large group of people that can go and play it. Do you think you're going to go and keep playing the game now that the week's done? I know that sometimes it's something that you enjoy but you don't have time, or something you really want to go and do. So what do you think you're going to do? I can see myself going and continuing to play it. I mean, I have to go and complete the story still. There's a lot to it, and the missions, depending on how long you choose, like the shorter ones take roughly 10 minutes, and so you could do a bunch of short ones, you can do some long ones. There's fighter pilots that you can go and take down that are the enemy, and you get more money for that. And so I think I will go and put more time into the game, because it, as I said before, it's fun, it's enjoyable, it is something that I really enjoy playing.